Did you know all of your sustainable habits like saying no to fast fashion, going on those weekend beach cleanup drives, or even composting waste at home? They are not just saving the planet, but they are also your unfair advantage to get a job in ESG and sustainability. As per Greenbiz 2024 report, only 32% of ESG and sustainability managers had an MBA degree, and only 16% had an MBA in sustainability. So, what qualification do you think rest of them have? Well, it's called passion, passion to drive change and passion for sustainability. You go for those water conservation drives, and they exactly prove that you can drive change. And that closet of yours filled with thrifted stuff, well, it shows exactly how well you know supply chain ethics. And I get it, you still don't believe me. So, watch the video till the end to know how your sustainable habits can give you a job in ESG and sustainability. Hi guys, welcome back to Gen Sustainable, and today we have a little bizarre topic, and it's about how your sustainable lifestyle can actually give you a job in ESG and sustainability. And if you don't believe me, I think you should watch this video till the end, because yeah, by the end of it you will really realize that it does make sense, and I have literally seen people get jobs through all of these ways and techniques. So stick till the end and watch the full video. Now, the first point is network amplifier, and your ESG and sustainability connections are the ones who are going to give you a job. Now, let's get real. Getting a job in ESG and sustainability does sound very overwhelming. I know you must have sent out hundreds of applications to thousands of places, yet there might be very few responses, and that might just convert into very few job opportunities. But what really lacks here is your network and those real connections. And with network, I don't really mean to say all of the people you add on LinkedIn. Well, they might help you in getting a job, but the chances are very rare compared to the actual network you build outside of the internet space. Now, just imagine you sign up for a beach cleanup drive on a weekend and you go there for beach cleanup. Who do you think are these people who are going to accompany you for this drive? They are similar, like minded people like you who care for the planet. And it's very possible that you can meet your future boss and your future colleagues right at this beach cleanup drive. Now, just imagine you are at a tree plantation drive, and there is someone who is handing out you the saplings that you're supposed to plant. Who do you think this person is who is actually handing out these saplings to be planted? They're probably CSR managers from any of these large organizations. And the person out there who is counting those saplings and doing all the budgeting and finance, he's probably the CSR or ESG analyst there trying to note down the number of saplings purchased and planted and the total cost behind it. Now, these events are not just voluntary events, they are actually job fairs in disguise, because yeah, you are going to meet a ton of CSR managers who are working at large organizations, and you have the first hand to not just network with them but to also show how passionate you are about this subject and how much knowledge you already have. Because when large companies say like Unilever or H&M or any other big company tells that they have been doing a lot of plantations around the city or the country or the world, who do you think is actually doing all of this? Not the CSO or the CFO of the company. They are the actual people who work in the company, who can give you the insights about these companies. And most of the times they are tied up with some NGOs who call people voluntarily to help them out. So if you think volunteering with an NGO to go on a tree plantation is just charity, no, it's actually your gateway to connect with all of these CSR managers working around. And yeah, now when you do go for any of these tree plantation or beach cleanup drives and you see some of the ESG or CSR managers handing out first-hand information about things like carbon capture, carbon sequestration, or pollution reduction, you're not just there to listen to these concepts, but you actually grasp these concepts. And probably when you go back home, you implement them and try to build a conversation with these managers around these topics. For example, if, say, an ESG manager explains you how carbon sequestration actually works when you meet them at any of these campaigns. You go back home, you calculate carbon sequestration of any particular activity that you have done, maybe planting the tree, and then reverting them back with, hey, the method you explained was really cool and I tried to calculate it, and now our carbon capture is XYZ tons of CO2. And you know what? Suddenly you're not just a job beggar who is asking to give them a job or hire them without any prior qualification, but you are that person who shows actual passion towards sustainability and bringing a change. So, how do you think would you stand when you actually apply for that job and that person is your hiring manager? They are obviously going to look at you as a very passionate individual and hire you for the job. So, all of these activities are not just activities you ignore, but they are your ticket to the inner circle of ESG and sustainability. Okay, now the next point up here is about skill building. So, your sustainable lifestyle can actually help you build all of the skills you require for ESG and sustainability. Don't believe me? Listen up. Now, most of these ESG certifications out there, they just teach you the theory of any subject without any practical implementation. So, say as a fresher, how do you get the experience to actually calculate your CO2 emissions when you haven't worked on any real life project? It is when you actually implement these changes in your day-to-day life. So when you actually try and track the CO2 emissions from any product you're using, say like this t-shirt, what happens next? You go into the details of the subject, you try to understand how the t-shirt is manufactured, how it is transported, where is the maximum impact happening throughout the life cycle of the production of the shirt as well as the disposal of it. And that is where you practically understand how every aspect of sustainability or ESG, such as GHG accounting or life cycle assessment, works. So when you try to live a impactful and sustainable life is only when you understand how the entire process or the supply chain around sustainability works, and you keep improving and building your skills each day. And when the interviewer asks you, do you know how to do life cycle assessment? You can say, yes, totally. I have done life cycle assessment of my entire wardrobe and I have switched it from a high impact wardrobe to a low impact wardrobe because I observed these patterns in my wardrobe, and now with the new products that I am using, say all of the thrifted products that you're using, how they have reduced the impact by 50%, 60% of your wardrobe. So yeah, you suddenly have experience without any job, without any projects. You just have created your own project and you are the life proof of how these projects can actually work. So you are not just a dreamer but an executor for that hiring manager. So all of your quirky habits, don't let them go. Embrace them, and they are your proof in the boardroom that you understand sustainability well. So if you're preparing meals by yourself using local ingredients, you can explain them the entire food supply chain of how these ingredients have been sourced locally and the reduced carbon footprint they have as compared to the food prepared by ingredients which are imported from other countries. When you calculate the CO2 emissions from any of the products you use, like your phone or your laptop, you know the intricacy of the hardware IT industry, of how these gadgets are built, what are the rare metals used in these products, and how the alternative product works for all of them and how it is actually effective. So you just don't mention now that life cycle assessment in a theoretical manner. You can actually demonstrate the life cycle assessment that you have done in your practical life. Now, the next point is building your own credibility and building your own brand. So now imagine you're a fresher and the interviewer asks you that, hey, do you have any experience in sustainability management? And you hesitate and say that, no, I do not have any experience. But in reality, you have volunteered for a tree plantation drive and managed about the plantation of 50,000 saplings. Well, that's your experience, and you can actually say that you have derived the change. You know how those saplings are sourced, how they are planted, what is the survival rate of the sapling, and how do you actually manage people to help you plant 50,000 saplings. So, yeah, here you have your experience, and you're not just a person who is passionate about sustainability, but you know exactly how the processes around sustainability work. And if you have planted, say, 50,000 saplings, I mean, not individually, but in a group project through any volunteering work, you can also try and calculate the CO2 reduction, which must be done with the help of planting these saplings. And hey, you are not just a student who has some volunteering experience, but you also know what are all of the practical aspects of doing these tasks and how do they actually impact a company's CO2 management plan. So next time when you're revising your CV, instead of just writing volunteered for a tree plantation drive, you can write that you led a 30 volunteers team who together planted 1,000 saplings, which led into 12 tons of carbon sequestration. And yeah, and you just see how much better it sounds as an experienced person when you update your CV with the actual impact that your project or your volunteering work has created, rather than just writing that you're passionate about ESG and sustainability. Similarly, when you go and volunteer, say, for a cleanup drive, so you are not just a volunteer now, but you also know that how the downstream supply chain of waste works, how the waste that you collected then gets segregated and goes either for recycling or for incineration or to the landfill, what type of waste goes where, and you are suddenly that valued resource who understands waste management. So yeah, you're not just a fresher, but you're a person with the most important knowledge which is required around waste management. Also, when you go for an interview and they ask you, how well are you, how comfortable are you with stakeholder engagement, can you communicate well with stakeholders, so you can easily say that yeah, probably you have been to a social awareness campaign in, say, a rural area, and you can say that you have undertaken community reach projects, and you know how to interact with different stakeholders like the residents of the village, the authorities or the government officials from the local municipality or the gram panchayat, and you know how to drive social impact change at ground level, and you are suddenly a much valued resource the company would like to have for social impact projects. So yeah, all of these volunteering experiences, they are not just Sunday activities, but they are something which will actually give you practical experience when you are still in college, without any job, without any internship, without sending out any CV or doing any course or certification. So I think the best advice would be that yeah, go out, take up those CSR or volunteering activities, and you don't know how much you will get to learn from them when you're just working with an NGO on some of these projects. And now imagine if there is someone who just has done maybe some certification but does not know how the supply chain actually works, compared to someone who has been on the ground and who knows how the supply chain for various things works, maybe for water, waste, energy. Who do you think the company would prefer hiring? Also, when you just write words like I am passionate about sustainability in your CV, that actually proves nothing. But if you back it up with all of your activities, it does show your passion to the recruiters. Like if you go for a beach cleanup drive, you actually show your passion that you do care about the planet. You know how waste management is done. If you go for a water conservation drive, you know what are the measures required to conserve water on ground. You go for social impact, social development projects like, say, education of underprivileged children, or for health and awareness of new mothers. They are not just any other volunteering jobs, but now they are giving you the example of how you would interact with different stakeholders. What are the challenges that would come when you are interacting with these stakeholders? And they just demonstrate the abilities you have to solve real world problems that can come up. And these qualities make you much more resourceful and much more impactful candidate than any other candidate who has any degree or any certification. Also, when you have your interview for your MBA or for your masters in any of the foreign countries, when you actually give out these practical demonstrations of the real world projects you have undertaken, these projects would make you much more valued than any of your marks or your certifications. Your marks in your graduation or your marks in your CET or GMAT can only like open the doors to getting the interview, but after going actually in front of the interviewers, like person with who has just qualifying marks or the person who has like say 100 percentile, all of them are equal if they don't know how to answer these real world questions. And these real skills can only be developed when you take up real world projects like these. And last but not the least is culture fit. And while I know a lot of Indian companies are still not there and not believe in the culture fit of, if they are hiring someone for the role of sustainability, if the person is actually sustainable or not. But yet there are a lot of foreign origin companies, like companies who are headquartered in Europe or any other Western countries and have the sustainability branch in India. So these companies, they still do prefer candidates who actually are passionate about sustainability when they are hiring for these roles. So such companies especially would any day hire someone and who is vegan for a reason, because they know how the food supply chain works and how they are actually reducing their impact, compared to someone who is an MBA grad but doesn't know what the sustainability on ground is, how they can make a change, and if they are not themselves passionate about the subject. So I think if you really want to work in these large foreign based companies, maybe in India or abroad, demonstrating them your passion towards the subject is very important, because yeah, passion drives a lot of things in most of these big companies. So yeah, to close today's video, I would just advise everyone to start picking up sustainable habits in your day-to-day life, because that is how you build your skills towards sustainability, that is how you understand sustainability better, and that is how you actually demonstrate your passion towards sustainability. So till we come back with a new video, stay impactful, stay gen sustainable. Bye bye.